Hey guys, welcome to We Watched a Movie. Jay and Mike, and we're going to be bringing you Gojira.
Godzilla!
Is that how you say it? Gojira? I don't want to disrespect
Gojira?
it. Gojira.
Gojira.
Gojira. That was my disclaimer, so I'm sorry if I mispronounced
Gojira.
it. Gojira?
Gojira.
Godzilla.
You're saying, oh, it's Gojira.
Gojira. Gojira. Hey, fuck it!
We watched a movie. Yeah. We watched a movie. We watched it.
But, oh no, fuck it, It's a 1954 original Japanese version of Godzilla, and we thought, hey, it'd be a good idea to do that one in anticipation of the new Godzilla movie getting ready to happen. So we're like, fuck it, let's do it. Let's find it, and watch it, and understand it, and believe it, and realize it.
Get up in that monster.
I'm gonna get all up in that shit.
Get up in it. We don't know shit about Godzilla. We've never gotten into it. It's cool. I love it. I'm gonna watch them all now. But we don't know much about
we knew who Godzilla was.
We're total newcomers coming to this whole thing. The only thing we ever saw was that shitty-ass Matthew Broderick movie that we will not speak of.
So, Godzilla, all this nuclear bullshit had basically disrupted this Jurassic creature that lived at the bottom of the ocean eating all these animals, and it got pissed off, and it was like, hey, you know, all my food's gone, I'm gonna eat your shit, and it's gonna happen.
Prison rules.
Noodles?
Prison rules.
Prison rules.
I'll eat your shit.
They basically said that Godzilla had been around for a long time, and they had basically done sacrifices at some point to keep him at bay. But that's the only thing I'm confused on, because they said that the nuclear testing that they had been doing disrupted this creature, and that's why Godzilla is out now and he's going to attack Tokyo. But then this older man on the island is like, you don't know nothing about the old days. You used to sacrifice humans, and now we do this dance, and Godzilla goes away. I was like, so
I think it was just like a myth like that had been talked about.
He acted like Godzilla had been around.
He was just a crazy old man, though.
This big giant sea lizard from the Jurassic period is attacking Tokyo, and we're fucked unless we do something. The beginning of the movie, it's fucking scary.
Yes.
You hear that, like how you do that. I can't do the Godzilla voice, but when you hear the thump, the Jurassic Park, like Tyrannosaurus Rex, like stomp sound, and you hear this big Godzilla, and of course it's all Japanese, so it's
subtitles.
Yeah, subtitles. But when you have that big long Japanese like scroll going, I'm like, what the fuck is that?
I don't understand.
But I love the music. That dun 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 dun.
The whole score through the entire movie was ahead of its time. The score was one of my favorite parts of the movie. That was badass. And the sound effects, amazing, dude. Like you were talking about, when Godzilla finally shows up, that roar is scarier than any roar since. I mean, it is freaking scary as hell.
It's the way they did it.
And I read he used like a resin-covered glove and like slap at the base. And like used reverb
he used a resin glove and slapped his wife.
But like to make that scary ass noise, and that's blood curdling. That roar is fucking awesome. And then not only that, and they went away from it. I don't know why they did that, but in the beginning, the first time you see Godzilla, you'd have that doom. Doom.
And then he pokes his head over the mountain.
Yeah, and that with that roar and that doom sound, that shit was scary as hell. I mean, I couldn't imagine watching back then when they didn't have special effects like they have today. Yeah. Watching that shit, you're like, oh my god.
Yeah, I can totally see how people in the 1950s would be like freaked out by this.
But why'd they go away from it? Like later in the movie, Godzilla would just show up and there would be no sound. He'd just be like.
Yeah, the guy in the suit, I know the guy in the suit, it almost seemed like sometimes the guy in the suit was just like a drunk guy they found. He's like, just move around in the suit, he's like, oh. It looks good. I mean, the special effects for what they had wasn't that bad. I mean, the editing in this movie is kind of terrible, even for 1950s.
It was, yeah.
Because there's some points like, you see the crew of the ship that was attacked early in the movie, and they're like hanging on a log, and the rescuers go in, and they're helping them, and then like 5 seconds later, the editing kicks in, and it's like, in a nice day in Tokyo, and it's like, I would have had a Coke today. Like, it was just like it had nothing to do with what was going on.
Yeah, it did that all the way through. It was just choppy.
It was just chopped, yeah.
And that was a sign of the times, too. But like you said, this movie was far and away ahead of its time when it came to special effects, obviously. And at that time, nobody thought the Japanese could do great special effects. And they were like, watch this shit.
Yeah.
And then King Kong had been stop animation. This was all using scale models and shit like that. And they did an amazing job with it. To actually sit down today in 2014, all the shitty, scary movies that we have now, and sit and watch this movie and actually be kind of freaked out by it at moments, is amazing. And that just speaks to how badass this movie really is.
Well, the whole thing, like that, just the whole thing, yeah, the special effects, the storyline itself, the music, all of it combined, it's a timeless movie. It really is a timeless movie. And I can understand why people are like all about Godzilla, the original movie, and like get pissed off at the Americanized version of it, and then especially the '98 shit Broderick movie. But it's like, I love that fucking because it's like, we are fucked, oh my god, it's Godzilla. They should have had lyrics to it. That's another thing, the mass destruction is awesome. I love that they did all that shit.
Don't you feel bad for him though? Like he's walking through there, it almost just looks like he's just trying to get somewhere, but all this shit's in his way.
It's like,
because he's kind of like throwing shit to the side. He's like, God damn it!
Where's the ocean?
Fuck!
I always thought that Godzilla in this movie, the way his rage was trying to get back to the ocean just to go home. He just wants to go home. It always felt like this was the rage that the people had in Iron Man 3 of the Mandarin. Like when you walk out of the theater, like, oh! So Godzilla shows up and he's attacking everything. And there's two different sets of ideas on how they're going to handle him. One guy, this crazy fucker, wants to like study it. And he's like all mad that everybody wants to kill this thing, even though he's killing everything and everybody, and he's destroying buildings, and he doesn't care. He's like, we need to study it! And the other guy's like, we gotta kill it. He's like, you agree? You get the fuck out of my house! It's like, really? That's the two ideas right there. Like, and then, you know, also they have a council meeting when Godzilla shows up and they're asking, they're like, you know, do we reveal this to the public? And the guy's like, you know, there's dangers revealing it to the public. And this girl called him, I guess, an idiot. He's like, you dad call me idiot? And I just, because this is all, I don't know if it's translated right, but he's like, you dad call me idiot? Apologize, apologize. He's what it's on the bottom. So I was like, he was screaming at her to apologize. So, but this council meeting basically understand, they like, basically, we're going to have to tell everybody about what's going on. You know, this is too important, this is too big. I mean, how are you going to keep that secret? This big giant lizard's walking around destroying your neighborhood. I mean, I don't think you're going to be like, it's just swamp gas. Another scientist creates a formula, but he don't want to tell everybody about it. Like, that will kill Godzilla. But Patch Adams is what I'm calling because he has a patch on his fucking eye.
Nick Fury.
Nick Fury. He's like,
and it really, dude, like he's like Nick Fury because he's got this tech shit and he's trying to keep it from the world.
Dude, you know what I thought? He reminded me of the 1950s version of an emo.
Yeah.
Like he was like, his shit was all disheveled. He was like, I just don't care.
I heard you could help us. He's like, I don't know any Germans. He's like, do you want to see? And he takes her downstairs to show her. And her reaction was so bad. I mean, I know it's, you know, the times or whatever, but he shows her. He's like, watch this fish tank. But for originally when she got there, I thought he was going to show her this great big thing, and she comes downstairs and she was like, and I was like, it's a fucking fish tank.
It's an aquarium. It's like you're mad and you're scared about an aquarium and a couple
I've been the
beakers.
first one to harness the power of a filter.
I liked it when he was like, I'm gonna show you my secret. I'm gonna show you a secret. And then he opens the door and it's glass beakers in a fucking aquarium, and she's like,
was his dick?
Ooh! Like, I was like, have you never been to a fish tank? Have you never seen one before? And then like, so he dumps this like liquid, I guess, stuff in it, and she's like, ah!
Oxygen killer.
I thought there was like a human head, like with friggin' like
her reaction, like,
dreadlocks and shit just going everywhere. You later on find out they do this. For the time, it's not that bad. They do a quick little flashback to see what she actually saw, and it was basically this thing where it sucks out all the oxygen and basically makes you. It seemed like a acidic acid or something almost. At the
sucks
bottom.
the oxygen out of the water and completely disintegrates everything.
Yeah, so that's it. I mean, and you know. Even though the guy at first, you know, the one that was resistant to it, he's like, I want to study it, I want to study it. He understands it. And later on in the film, he's like, all right, we got to kill it. This is bullshit. We got to kill it. I'm sorry. I was stupid. Pretty much a conclusion that they got to kill it. They got to destroy it because it's going to wreak havoc and it's not going to stop. Even though at one point it does go back to the ocean. So, I mean, it seemed like it was done. It was like, I've done what I needed
Well, it
to
did
do.
that several times and it just kept coming back. So I guess they had to kill
Fucking
it.
ass.
But
and it didn't, but you never say it didn't kill. It didn't eat anything. Like, it just walked around.
Picked up like trucks and shit.
How's that nutritional? They go to the bottom of the ocean and they take this. So that didn't even make sense to me because the guy with the Patch Adams guy said that if a little drop got into Tokyo Bay, it would poison everything and kill everything. He takes this big giant friggin' beach ball down there and he like dumps it in the ocean to kill Godzilla. So I guess everything's dead now. You killed Godzilla, but you killed everybody else. That's fucking awesome. Pacific Ocean is fucked.
I loved how they did that though. The way that they did it made it perfect for sequels because he's like he burned away all of the shit.
I don't know. His bones, dude. He was like, oh.
Well, yeah, no, I know, but I'm saying like, the way they handled it was perfect because for one, that's the real tie-ins back to the nuclear shit because their whole dialogue there about I can't let this get into the wrong hands. Even though it'll stop that, someone will see it and want to use it for bad shit, for hurting people.
Yeah.
They're talking about the nuclear weapons. I mean, it's kind of genius how they did all that, and that was really cool. But he takes this and he destroys all of his shit. And he goes down with it. He dies with it. So that's the only known model of what it was. He's gone. It's gone. So that way, when sequels come up, nobody can be like, just go get that other shit again. We'll just throw it in there again. We'll be done. That's gone now. So the sequels live on. And that was really smart how they did that. I mean, another thing I really liked was the science behind it. Not like science, but the way they did everything. Like the guy, he goes in and he scans the footprint and you got the radiation. And then they show the bug and they talk about what times they came from and all that shit. That shit was really interesting and really cool.
It really was, yeah. The thing I didn't like also was. I mean, I know it's the 1950s, and I know this guy wasn't really about naming shit, but could you not come up with a better super weapon instead of Oxygen Destroyer? Like, he was like, it's the Oxygen Destroyer! And I was like, could you call it the Oxidizers, or Mermaid's Tip, or fucking Ursula's Nipple, or something like fucking badass, or something like
Mermaid's Tip.
And by the way, I was just going to mention really quick, when the army gets involved, and they, like, are attacking Godzilla before they get this little formula that's going to kill Godzilla, it's like, we're gonna build an 800-foot fence, and we're gonna have like 100 feet below ground, and then they just pull out their back pocket, and they're like, it's here. It's like it's made in like 2 seconds, and like
as soon as they make it, Godzilla comes running for it. You know? It's like immediate.
Godzilla's like, this is supposed to stop this. I eat this shit for breakfast. But it was just that.
So
might have been editing. It might have been the editing because it was just I don't know if that was because of time compressed, and they didn't have time to show them building it. But seriously, you're gonna build that big of a fucking fence.
It was like hundreds of feet underground.
But they had just talked about it. They had just brought all the scientists in. It's like, we're gonna do it, and then boom, it's like all of a sudden the fence.
I know. And did you laugh when they mentioned it at first before you heard the whole like plan? They were like, "We're going to build a barbed wire fence."
Yeah,
like, it's a fucking barbed wire fence.
Like
I could climb over a barbed wire fence to get my football when I was a kid.
But it was like we were gonna electrify it. Yeah,
it's
but it's only 50,000 volts. Isn't that what they use for fucking like tasers today?
I don't know.
Fucking cruel.
Well, Godzilla just slapped through it like it was a bitch. But
oh, another thing, those pilots that they had in the Japanese army fucking sucked because every bottle rocket they shot at him, he was just like it was terrible. They missed every time. This is a 50-foot fucking tall monster, and you can't hit it. And every once in a while, he'd go. Like he'd slap him out of the way. Like what? Seriously, I don't know.
He did the truffle shuffle whenever he got hit by tank grenades. It was like
I will admit that the guy that played that in the suit, he did a pretty good job. He had no idea what he what because I'm not saying he didn't know what he was doing, but you go to a shoot, you're auditioning for a part, and the guy's like, put this suit on, and you're like. Okay, and it's like, now stomp on the city.
They were draining sweat out of it, like
I know.
A cup load. But yeah, so I mean, I love this movie. I thought it was awesome. I can't believe I haven't seen it after all these years. I can't wait to get into the Godzilla shit and watch all the other movies. I love this movie. I give it an 8.5.
I'm gonna give it an 8.5 as well. I thought it was a perfect movie for its time, and it really set up the whole legend of Godzilla. I mean, it obviously did because it started it all, but this is what Godzilla was meant to be, like a horror, politically motivated kind of creature, like. Be wary of the past or you're doomed to repeat it kind of thing. Yeah. And that's what the thing is about Godzilla. Like, he's transitional. I mean, he's always going to be one of those kind of creatures that everybody's going to be able to relate to every generation. Like,
what is your all's favorite monster movie of all time? Comment below, let us know. Have you guys seen the first movie, this movie? What did you guys think about it? Are we way off? And not only that, but if we had to watch one other Godzilla movie, for the fans of the Godzilla movies, give us a recommendation. One monster movie from way back in the olden times that we haven't seen. Comment below, let us know what we should watch. Until next time, guys, I'm Mike. He's Jay, and we'll
keep your panties fresh.
Next time.
We watched a movie. Yeah. We watched a movie. We watched it. We watched a movie. Yeah.